This is our son's bedroom, and it's desperately in need of a complete makeover. And that's why we put aside nearly 4 weeks to completely redesign and remodel this entire space. It started with a very high-octane demo. Then we moved on to adding custom shiplap panels to all of the walls.
Look at that.
It's a work of art.
And then last week, Andrea showed off her woodworking skills to build and install custom bookshelves that would go all the way to the ceiling.
It's done. It looks so good.
And now finally, we're ready to tackle the most exciting parts of this entire project. And that's painting, staging, and revealing this brand new room.
Are you hyped? Are you psyched? Are you ready?
So join us for the adventure as we attempt to turn this old, boring bedroom into something beautiful in a really cool teen boy kind of way.
After nearly 3 weeks of working on this room, I was finally ready to pick a paint color. All right, I have just a little bit of leftover of color paint I think might work. So I'm just gonna test it out. But this is the one we used at a friend's house for their laundry room and kitchen. It's Benjamin Moore Revere Pewter. I've used this in a lot of spaces. It's a really good neutral. I don't know if it'll be dark enough or warm enough. Oopsies, wow, I'm making a mess. I've said this before, but I recommend always getting a sample of your paint colors to test out on the wall, as even the same paint colors can look completely different in different spaces depending on the light and the surroundings. I feel like I need to see the rug in here with the paint color. I can't choose without that. I was tempted to go ahead and try and pick the paint color while it was still wet, but I needed to just give it a little bit of time. Oh yeah, I'm glad I brought the rug in here. I don't think I like the paint color. But I learned you gotta wait for it to dry. I'll let it dry. All right, I do not like that first sample I tried, but like I said, it was just some leftover paint that I have, but I went and grabbed a couple of more samples last night, and so I'm ready to try these out, and hopefully one of these will be a winner. This first color was a good starting place, and so I knew it would be helpful, even if it wasn't quite the right color, it would just give me a good idea, and I was able to look at that and say, I like the darkness of that color, basically. I just want it really similar, but a little bit more warmth to it. That's a little bit too gray, and that's Revere Pewter, in case anybody's wondering. So I've got 2 more here. I've got Grant Beige and Bleecker Beige. They're really similar.
So that's sample number 1?
Sample number 1. This was so much easier than choosing a paint color with wallpaper.
Sample number 2?
Number 2, let's get it open. You're probably gonna not even be able to tell if these are different. They're very, very similar. Oh, pooey.
Looks like you made a little mess there.
I do. This one definitely has like more of a yellow tint to it, but I kind of like it. I don't know. All right, while I let those paint samples dry, I'm gonna go ahead and take my hinges off of my cabinet doors because I forgot to do it, and also because I need to make a trip to Lowe's to get a few last minute little paint supplies, and I wanna go ahead and grab some hinges while I'm there. But there are so many different like sizes of these hinges where they're really, really similar. I've learned this from experience because I thought I'll just go buy some new hinges, and I got there and was like, I have no idea which ones, and so I'm gonna take one with me. All right, I've got my hinges off. I'm gonna finish letting these paint samples dry, and while those are drying, I'm gonna go ahead and run to Lowe's for a few last minute little things we need. Really quick, we wanna say thanks to Cricut for sponsoring today's video, and we're gonna do a really fun little project that's gonna add a unique and really customizable, personalized touch to Levi's room. I'm gonna be making a custom felt name pennant. Now, I will admit, I have never tried cutting felt on my Cricut machine before, but I Googled it and it says it's totally possible, and I tested the little piece and it worked perfectly, so I have high hopes that this is gonna go really well. For this project, I'm gonna be using a few different colors of felt, and then I have this fusible interfacing, which I will attach to my felt before I cut it. There are several different kinds of this. Basically, just get one that's double-sided and that you can iron on after after. I just picked it up at a local craft store. Really quick, I'm gonna walk you through making my design in Cricut Design Space, and then we'll get our mat all set up. All right, now that I'm in Cricut Design Space, I'm gonna go ahead and type out my name so I can start selecting my font. I've already played around with this for a bit, so I know that the font I wanna use is Nexa Rust Script. I just love the way it looks, and I think it fits this felt pendant perfectly. Now I'm gonna go ahead and type out the rest of his name so I can start choosing that font. For this one, I chose BFC Athlete. I feel like it pairs well nicely with the other font, and again, I just like the overall look. Now that I have my name all laid out, I'm gonna go ahead and select all of it together and resize it so I can get it to be the size that I want. Once I have it sized correctly, I just click on make and then follow all of the prompts on screen. All right, now that I have my design all set, I can see how large of a cutting area I need, so I know exactly how big my felt piece needs to be. And before I set it up on my mat, I'm gonna go ahead and put my fusible interfacing on my felt. So I did go and buy Cricut's 24-inch mat for this project because I knew I was gonna have it be more than just the standard 12-inch, but I did just get the standard grip. That was what I read online, that it works, and it worked on my test piece, and so I was excited because that's kind of the most all-around useful for other projects too. All right, now that I have my design all finished and my mat is all set up, I'm gonna go ahead and click continue on my project and just follow the prompts on screen. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling my letters off and placing them on my white felt just to kind of get an idea of where I want it. And I'm gonna do that before I cut my banner out. That way I can just get a really good visual on where my letters are actually gonna go, because I only have this amount of white felt and I don't wanna mess it up and cut it too small. All right, I have my letters placed where I want them, so I'm ready to go ahead and iron them in place. I'm just gonna put kitchen towel over it.
Fancy.
All right, I'm gonna just freehand draw my triangle banner shape, so hopefully I don't mess this up. I'm gonna use a pencil to kind of sketch it. Perfect, okay.
Nice.
Oh, look at that. All right, I wanna add one little finishing touch. So I'm gonna cut a little strip of green that I'll iron on to the end here just to, you know, make it a little bit fancier. I'm gonna go ahead and use just a little bit of my fusible interfacing to attach this. So now all I need to do is trim off this little extra, and then I think my flag is done. Look at that. It's so cute, and it didn't even take me that long. You ready to go to Lowe's?
Oh, sure. People are probably wondering where the magical minivan went. No?
Yeah.
She's in the chiropractic office getting a little adjustment. But we're hoping that she'll be back up and swinging here in no time, and that her back's not broken, but yeah.
A Lowe's trip, a Lowe's trip. Every single day it's a Lowe's trip. And I don't know what late fall feels like where you live, but here, flip-flops in November. Welcome to Texas.
At Lowe's, I grabbed paint supplies, which included tape, paper, plastic, and another paint suit. Next, I headed over to the hardware aisle to see if I could find hinges that were the correct size and also the color I wanted. And thankfully, after a little bit of digging, I was able to find exactly what I was looking for.
After checking out, we headed back to the house where we knew a big job was waiting for us.
As she surveys the task ahead, she realizes it's gonna be a bruiser.
Chose the paint color.
You chose a paint color?
I chose the paint color and I ordered it too while I was waiting on you.
Whoa!
I'm going with the color on the left, Grant Beige. All right, now that I actually have my paint color chosen, I'm ready to start masking off the room. I didn't want to mask it off first because I did want to be able to see like the floor color and the rug and stuff with the paint because that makes a huge difference. So now we can actually start masking it off. Before covering the floors, I decided to go ahead and do one last quick vacuum. I decided to start by masking off the edges of the ceiling first, as this is my least favorite part and I wanted to get it out of the way. All right, I'm gonna try something different because my little paper dispenser is giving me a little bit of trouble. So I have this stuff, it's the plastic with the tape attached to it, and then you pull the plastic out. I like this a lot, I like it for ceilings, except the tape is terrible. So I think what I'm gonna do is just stick it up quickly and then come back with a better piece of tape, because this is what I used in the playroom, if you remember. I mean, that's been a long time now, and it all was falling down. Oh, shoot! Look at the ceiling.
Roll. You can do it.
And this is why taping off the ceiling is my least favorite part of the process, because gravity is definitely not your friend. This is maddening. Masking the ceiling is a pain. But I went as fast as I could, making my way around the room, and once I finished getting the plastic up, I went back around with another piece of tape to reinforce it. After I finished the ceiling, I moved on to masking off the windows. And thankfully, the windows went a lot faster than the ceiling. Lastly, I moved on to covering the floors. This red paper is made specifically for covering floors, and I like it because it is quite thick, it doesn't tear easily, and my paint won't leak through it.
And more than just coverage, I'm really digging the watermelon vibes. While Andrea finished masking off the room, I went to our local paint store and grabbed 2 gallons of paint
Andrea Davis.
so Andrea could start painting as soon as she was finished masking everything off.
We were making a team effort to get this first coat of paint on because we didn't have long until it was time to pick up the kids from school.
You built yourself a paper fence.
Oh,
You're so gentle.
I'm in a hurry.
Oh, I love it when you put these on.
I think my last one lasted through a few projects, but I do end up buying a new one every few projects. Seems like I ripped them. It won't work as well if they've got holes in them.
Sure. Mask on. Oh, the outfit is complete.
After getting all suited up, I made sure my paint sprayer was ready to go, and then I started spraying on the first coat. Bookshelves are always a bit tricky because there are so many different nooks and crannies. It is really easy to overspray and end up with drips. So you have to make sure and spray light coats and be careful not to spray the same area multiple times. The next tricky part of this process was spraying these shutters, as it is difficult to cover all of the different angles without overspraying and again ending up with drips. After I finished spraying this set of shutters, I moved on to the rest of the wall, and thankfully this portion was relatively straightforward.
Then Andrea started moving randomly around the room.
Crazy in here. I feel like maybe I should do the other built-in.
To be fair, I do usually start in the far corner of the room and make my way out towards the door, but I'm not honestly sure why I didn't just spray all of the built-ins at once this time.
And at this point, it was time for me to get the camera out of the room and just let Andrea do her thing.
After spraying a second coat and then letting the paint dry for several hours, it was time to see if the paint was dry enough to remove all of the masking. See if it's dry. It's dry enough to start cleaning up a little bit. And I say this with every project that requires a lot of painting, but this really does feel a lot like opening up Christmas presents on Christmas morning. It's also exciting because it means I'm finished with all of the most difficult work in this renovation and pretty much have all the fun stuff left.
Nice, clean line.
Wow. That looks really good. Okay, I feel like the red paper on the floor really throws off the colors. After cleaning up all of the masking, I of course had to bring the rug in right away. It looks so good. I do have a rug pad for under my rug, but I need to go find it and open it and cut it to size, so you should have a rug pad, otherwise it kind of slides all around, but it looks really good. While I gave the paint a little bit more time to fully dry, I decided to start working on putting furniture together downstairs. Finally, it was time for my favorite part in this whole process, and that is furnishing and finishing this room. Look at this artwork. I found this at an antique store several months ago, and I was like, this just looks so fun. He really liked it, and so I was envisioning it up above the bed. I'm gonna kind of wait till we have more things in place, but I like it. All right.
Okay.
I've got my new hinges. I'm a little nervous. I hope that they fit. We're about to find out. After bringing in all of the main pieces of furniture, I decided to move on to reinstalling the cabinet doors. Since I'm using the exact same size hinges as before, this was pretty quick as I could reuse the holes that the previous hinges used. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Look at this. He's not gonna know what to do. Cabinet doors with hinges on them that aren't broken. This is nice. Now, I do realize that I didn't have to wait until we did a full room remodel to fix these hinges, but this was just one of those little projects that I never got around to, and it feels really good to finally check this off my list. Look at that.
Hardware.
Yeah. I already had these brass knobs on hand and decided they would be perfect for the space. All right, now that I have my cabinet doors on and the hardware on, I'm gonna work on adding stuff to these shelves. Okay, I do have to point out these. This is more artwork that I found at an antique shop, and it's like thin layers of wood veneer that make up the pictures. And just in case you don't remember, our son is an artist and he loves all forms of art. And so he was so excited when he saw these. Actually, all of our kids think these are so cool, but I thought these would be a fun touch on his shelves. I still don't have artwork in here, but I'm just gonna place it for now.
What do we have here?
Look, I hung on to it. I decided I liked this plant, so I pulled it out of the trash, didn't throw it away.
Can we just do a little PSA here? Please do not super glue this plant to the desktop. Thank you. That's cool.
I know, it's just a radio I picked up at Target, but I thought it looks cool and he liked it too, and so I was like, that's kind of fun. When styling shelves, I usually like to place all of the items in one category at one time. For example, I usually start with my artwork. Then I moved on to other items that were of similar shape and size. After that, I placed all of my books. You definitely don't have to do things this way, and really there's no right or wrong way to do things here, but I've just found that this is what works best for me personally. One thing our son really wanted was a beanbag chair, and so he was quite excited about this addition.
Is that a doggy bed?
Yeah, he wishes.
All right, pause. Have you been thinking about starting a YouTube channel basically forever, but you've never done it because you're intimidated, you're afraid, and you have no idea where to get started? Well, I run a YouTube mentorship program where I lay out my exact strategy for creating and launching a channel like a pro. In 2024, I help students use this system to launch their own channels, like Tiffany over at DIY Tiff, who was a part of the program in 2024 and went from about 5,000 subscribers to 45,000 subscribers in roughly 6 months. Tiffany took what she already knew and combined that with new strategies in the program to go from about 10,000 views a video to an average of 75,000 views a video. She even used one of my very favorite strategies in the program to make a video that did over 500,000 views. And more than that, she has now started doing regular paid brand deals. It's pretty insane. And now I'm getting ready to train a new set of students in 2025. This will include my operating system, which is a blend of tutorial videos and action steps that outline my exact process. Plus, there's live group coaching calls where we talk face-to-face in a group setting and you can ask all of your burning questions. So if you want to be part of the class of 2025, then click the link in the description to join the waitlist. This ensures that you have a spot in the program if you want it. You guys know that I'm passionate about helping others grow life-changing YouTube channels, and I would love the chance to help you launch your first channel in 2025.
After getting all of his things back on the shelves, I was finally ready to commit to hanging artwork on the walls. I grabbed Dean's help to hold this banner while I made sure it was perfectly centered on the wall. I attached it with a couple of small picture nails. That way, if he wants to pull this off of the wall later, we don't have to worry about filling any large holes. Next, I installed these picture lights at the top of the bookshelves, and these are actually battery operated, so it's super DIY friendly. The room was almost complete, but I had one final large addition.
Worst decision we ever made.
I found this beautiful antique wood desk on Facebook Marketplace that was perfect for his room. The only problem was it weighed several hundred pounds, and I wasn't sure how we were going to get this into his room.
I don't know that this is gonna fit.
Should I try and twist up the stairs? You okay? Things were going about as good as they could have until we got about halfway up the stairs and the desk started coming apart. Oh, it's breaking. Okay, shoot, I gotta set it down. Okay.
It's very heavy.
At this point, we were pretty stuck and I couldn't figure out how to lift the top end of the desk because it was coming apart.
Remember that time when I said this is the worst decision we ever made?
Yeah, you weren't wrong.
I just wanted to echo that sentiment.
At this point, Dean pretty much saved the day and went into beast mode, lifting the desk basically on his own from underneath in the middle. And in case this is stressing anybody else watching all of this, our stairs did survive just fine.
Now I'm stuck because I can't get out if I want to.
One more step. Unfortunately, I don't know if I can say the same about our backs. They lifted up, can you crawl under this?
No, it's my leg. I'm stuck.
What do I do? We would have been fine if it didn't start breaking. That's how I was like,
I'm glad you're enjoying yourself.
I'm just so relieved we didn't die.
You better hope this fits. You're fine.
By some miracle, we finally got the desk to the top of the stairs and inside the room.
DIY Dean, DIY done. It's the end of an illustrious career.
All right, I'm gonna stick it to his bulletin board. That seems like a safe place, and then if we want to move it around, we can move it around. With the new desk in place, we were ready to show our son his new room.
Are you pumped? Are you psyched? Are you hyped?
Yeah!
This looks really good, Mom.
Nice. New room. Think. It's cool.
do you think, big man?
It is.
It's cool, huh? We almost died, I think, for real, getting that up here. Okay. Like it can never leave, so.
Are you hyped? Are you psyched? Are you in? The two artists together.
No, I'm like, he needs a, that's cool. I'm sweaty. I'm sweaty now. I wasn't sweaty. What do you think? Didn't you like the guy?
Oh yeah, the guy picture's cool.
It looks good.
That's
Huh?
actually your grandfather.
No, it's not. I
Yes,
met
it
both
is.
of my grandfathers.
That's your great grandfather, I mean.
Do I get to sleep in here tonight?
Yeah, you sure do if you want to.
Yes, I do. Thanks, Mom.
Oh, that's fun. You like your room?
Yes.
Feels like a sophisticated teenage boy room. You like it? What's your favorite
Yeah.
part?
I like the bed and how much compartments the desk has.
Yeah.
Man, how good does this room look? And it has been weeks in the making, tons of hard work that went into the design, and then even more hard work that went into bringing that design to life. But in the end, the room looks incredible, Levi loves it, and we've just added even more value to this house.
Yeah, I love this room so much. And even better, Levi loves the room so much because he got to, of course, like be a part of the design process and help pick things out. And even like the paint color, we've had a few comments of like, oh, it's a boring beige. But I'm like, well, he wanted boring beige and I actually think it looks really good. And I love like the texture that the rug brings into the room and then the different bedding and then incorporating some antique pieces with the artwork and then the desk and like, it just makes it feel so cozy. And I have loved walking in and seeing him work at his desk. He's got like his art stuff set up. He has all these little cubbies for the different like pencils and markers and pens and paper and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, it just makes me so happy. I was a lot like that as a kid, you know, just was an artist. I loved all the art stuff. And so to see him have like the perfect setup as a little, you know, junior artist, just warms my heart a little bit, makes me happy. Plus, Levi has said thank you, what, like 20 times. It's the sweetest thing. He's just like, thanks Mom and Dad for redoing my room. Thanks Mom and Dad, thanks Mom and Dad. And so it's just sweet. He loves it, he's enjoying it, everybody's happy.
So that is the end of this DIY adventure, but we have some big ones coming up, namely the playroom. We have been putting this thing off for a long time for many reasons, but it is finally time to tackle one of the biggest and most industrious projects in our entire house. So we'll catch you again in another DIY adventure very soon. And here's a quick reminder, if you're interested in launching a YouTube channel in 2025 and you want to learn my system, my way of doing it, then join the waitlist. I would love to be a part of your journey. Oh, it's done, baby.
It looks so good.
It looks so good. And
He loves it.
we need a nap. We're
That
gonna have
was
to introduce the
intense.
new van in the next series, not in this one.
We just got a new van. We'll share it, we'll share it.
Coming soon, new magical minivan.
It's very magical. So magical that I don't think I'm gonna put any lumber in it ever.
Yeah, we'll tell you a story about the old magical minivan in the next one. It goes something like the repairs are going to exceed the value of the car. So we said it's time to say goodbye. But anyways, more on that in a future video.
There's a lizard right outside of our window.
Huh.
Okay, remember that one time we had the lizard want to be on camera? Sorry, I'm gonna finish that sentence. Hold on.
That's him.
He came inside.
He's back.
He's back. It is cute. They're so cute. They're very fast.
We should move on.
Okay, we should. Okay, ready?
All right. We're out. We're out like a light.